Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Revenge by Tom Bauer. Can you hear the glee in my voice? I read this book. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. So much to say. I love this book so much. A huge thank you to all of you who recommended it. Do I sound better? I got my new microphone. I got so much to talk to you guys about. Let's dive in. A huge thank you to all of you who let me know. Brittany, thank you for letting me know that this was available on Audible, the audiobook. You have to have a premium membership to get it. But guess what, guys? I have a code. Use my code, please. Yes, you have to type in this old school code, HTTPS, the dots, the backslashes, this code. Type it in, and it will give you free access to the Premium Plus with thousands of included one title of your choice per month. I chose this for my first one. I just signed up myself. Plus, you get a 30% discount on additional. If you use this code here, it really helps me out. I'll be able to get more books and do more episodes like this. Okay, without further ado, let's go. Woo! Meghan's gonna be pissed about this one. What a great book. Tom Bauer wrote this book, of course, called Revenge. It is available. I listened to it on Audible, on the audio. I loved it. It was great to listen to. He interviewed over 80 people to get these stories for this book, and man, they have some very similar stories about one Miss Meghan's terrible attitude about everything. There are so many stories in this book, I can't even scratch the surface on it, and that's fun. You need to go listen so you can absorb it for yourself. So I'm not trying to give spoilers, but I am going to talk about some of my favorite quotes and sections and some of the lowlights of the book, but I do encourage you to pick it up. Okay, so the first thing I got to talk about, that damn soap story. How many times have we heard this stupid soap story? Yes, again, Brittany, I'm looking at you. We heard it again, but guys, seriously, she just apparently told it again, by the way, on her new podcast episode. People were making fun of that. Here's some of the links to the articles talking about it. But she tells the soap story again, and guess what, guys? According to Vanity Fair, it's not true. And not only did that give me a huge laugh, because come on, we've all heard this story where she wrote a letter when she was 11 years old because she felt like challenging a company's over its sexist dish soap ad, blah, blah, blah. You've heard it. Okay. Well, Vanity Fair spoke up, which is kind of wild because they seem to kiss her ass any chance they get. But they spoke up and said they never could verify the story. Even the soap company said something along the lines of no such letter was ever written. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So for me, this book really picked up its pace when it got into her time on Suits and how she would often mistreat the crew, and her diva-like behavior continued to increase. Lots of stories of tantrums, not only on set, on promotional sets, on photo shoots, things like that. A lot of common stories from a lot of different people talking about the same horrible attitude that she had. A common theme of this book was she would get what she wanted from you and then leave you, dump you, however you want to say that. Things really continued on a spiral when she met this poor sucker right here, Prince Harry. I couldn't resist. Prince Harry. She did an interview for Vanity Fair. Again, Vanity Fair keeps coming up. Apparently, she was not supposed to have spoken about the love story. She broke the protocol. She did anyway. And when the palace was unhappy, she threw a fit against Vanity Fair, even though it was her leaking the information. Very interesting stories there. A lot of that going on, coming from her, but then denial that it was her that was leaking the stuff. One of my favorite parts of the book did explain that it was indeed Meghan that made Kate cry at the dress fitting. Apparently, she had a terrible attitude. She was completely rude to not only Kate, but to Charlotte as well. And he goes into great detail about the story. You're going to want to listen to that. Of course, when talking to Oprah, she completely denied it because, she would do that. But that's where the relationship started to fall apart between Harry and the royals and Meghan. And yeah, we know how that story goes. Oh, this picture, you guys, this sums it up. Turns out she had told her first husband, Trevor, and then again told Harry that she didn't have this family that she actually had. And her family actually wanted to know what was she telling them. The writer theorizes that Doria and Thomas Markle, Meghan's dad, were both in a lot of debt, and that because Doria sided with Meghan, She did it publicly so Meghan would pay off her debt, whereas Thomas didn't do that so Meghan wouldn't help him. Believe me, it's messy.
Despite all the efforts to welcome her, the wedding, the house, the staff, the foreign tours, and limited duties, Meghan had refused to accept that a monarchy epitomized continuity.
So the what's in it for me theme continued on for Meghan as she was joining the royals, as she was getting married to Harry. She apparently had her people reach out to Dior, Givenchy, Chanel, different companies like that, and ask for royal freebies. Well, that's not a thing they do. Companies were completely puzzled by this and said that Kate had rejected freebies on principle. They do not accept royal freebies. But Meghan wasn't worried about the rule. There were so many great lines in this book, and one of my favorites is, "Logic played no part in the Sussexes' conduct." So a thing that also was brought up is apparently the staff referred to Harry as the hostage. But they also talked about his temper tantrums, that he was also getting more and more disrespectful to the staff as they suspected he was being told off behind the scenes by Meghan. Okay, let's talk about that interview. You know which one I'm talking about, the one with Oprah. As I like to call it, the woe is me moment. So alleged in the book, people have done some digging and found at least 17 inaccuracies, I think that's putting it nicely, that were revealed in the interview. Some of them, not all of them, were that they had gotten married earlier. They found that that's not the case. That Archie wasn't allowed to be the prince. They went in and explained that that's not the case. That doesn't happen until Charles takes the throne. Even the way she spun it about her passport being taken from her, that wasn't the case. She claims that she was unable to just leave. However, they go into deep detail how that's not true, and she did just leave. She went to New York for her baby shower. They jetted off on 13 holidays together, including Ibiza, Nice, and Amsterdam. She also traveled to Toronto. So yeah, that's none of that's making any sense, Meg. I would really like you to listen, if for no other reason, but to hear the detailed accounts by many people of the terrible, cruel ways she would speak to staff and to especially like crew members, from everything from suits to photography situations to press people. Lots of people, as we know, have quit and been let go, and they all have similar stories of just being totally demeaned and spoken to terribly and no boundaries, and just that she was a terrible person and that Harry played right along with it. While I thoroughly enjoyed this book, it wouldn't be fair for me to not discuss my con on this book. There were a couple of things that bothered me, but you know what my number one thing? There was way too much poor Thomas Markle. Thomas, of course, being her dad, he must have given a bunch of interviews for this. We got a lot out of Samantha, good Lord. And it just, to me, they laid it on too thick. I understand why anybody would want to leave that family, because he seems like a nightmare, truthfully. They painted him as a woe is me, poor dad, I paid for school, all this stuff. Which it does sound like they made a bunch of cases that he did pay for school, but her favorite thing to tell everybody is that he didn't. Whatever, that's between them. But I did not love the woe is me thing painted, because again, as a parent, all I could think of is, even if your kid's pissing you off, are you going to go speak to the media about it? You know, like nobody made him do that. He did it on his own accord. So I don't have a lot of sympathies for Thomas. While I am no Meghan Markle fan, I do not have sympathy for Thomas. So that's the only thing that I found a little frustrating with this book, because there was a lot of poor Thomas. He was just doing the best he could, and maybe he was. They did go into his health situations and why he was unable to make the wedding, and I felt for the guy. Anybody would feel awful missing their daughter's wedding, but I do feel like they laid on the poor Thomas a little thick. There's definitely a lot of fascinating stories. Lots about the palace actually trying to help her shine. Lots about her supposed philanthropic work and how the palace tried to help her in areas like that, but she just wasn't interested, with the theme of it all being what's in it for me. So great book, really enjoyed it. If you read it, let me know your thoughts, and hey, if you're interested, use my code, type this whole thing out and you'll get the book. They're doing a free promotion right now, so you can use your credit, get this book, and enjoy it. And thank you guys for watching. Now, if you want to stay tuned, there's just a couple more things I want to talk about. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here. If you want more from me, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps, where I'm doing deep dives of Sex and the City. Okay, for you guys that are sticking around, first of all, a huge thank you. I mean, my most sincere thank you and a warm hug for me. Because of you, and you're very kind, hitting that thank you button, and all of you who donated to the KO-FI, I believe it's pronounced coffee, website. It's a tip website, and just all of you who have hit that super thanks button, you know who you are. You are the reason I was able to get this dream microphone. This is the first video I'm recording with it. I hope I sound better. I'm still learning all the buttons and knobs and how to make myself sound the best. So let me know what your thoughts are on the sound. I did include a picture. This is the mic I picked up. I love it. I also got the, what do you call it? I'm so not technical, soundboard that goes with it. The one that was recommended to go with it. I'll flash a picture of it. Again, my most sincere thank you to every single one of you who contributed toward this. It really means the whole wide world. I can't adequately thank you enough. I tried to write back thank you to each of you who contributed, and I want to put a blanket thank you right here. While I'm thanking people and we're talking books, I want to pull your attention to somebody else in my comments here. This is Brooke. Brooke is wonderful. She and I met through the comments, and that's how I meet so many of you guys. And she is so sweet and so kind, and she's an author. And she's written a bunch of books, and she just sent me this book, Where We Belong. And I am working my way through it, and I'm loving it. It's such a good book. So guys, she's one of us. She found me because of her hatred of And Just Like That and MLMs and everything else that we talk about in the comments. So if you're interested, Brooke writes these wonderful, I guess she'd call them under the genre of romance. I just find the characters so interesting and the story so fascinating. So if you're interested, do check out Brooke's books. Again, Brooke, thank you for sending me the copy. I really do sincerely appreciate it. You guys are the best. I love all the suggestions you all make all the time. I mean, you guys recommended this book to me. I really just appreciate you. So as far as the channel goes, I would like to do more videos like this. I had so much fun putting this one together. It took me so long to edit it, but that's okay. I really enjoyed it. It felt good to use my creative brain. I know I've had a lot of TikToks up lately. That's because I had to get my kid back in school, but she's back. We're good. And I'm here. So let me know in the comments what other topics you want to talk about, things like that, and I will keep making more videos like this as I have the chance. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Check out my Patreon, use my Amazon code, and I can't wait to bring you more videos like this with my fabulous new sound system. You guys really are the best. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.